Alright, what's up guys? So, WrestleMania has uploaded a video titled 10 WWE Wrestlers Vince McMahon Secretly Didn't Want as World Champion. It's crazy to see how much WWE is changing. There were some like posts and things that was being said from Triple H where he was like, pretty much he was just saying like, it's my time to shine now as the man in charge and things. So, it's crazy. It's honestly it's crazy, but it's what to overall expect. And honestly, I had to say like I like where it's heading. I think it can honestly be something great. And I feel like with the experience that Triple H just overall has in wrestling, I mean, I don't see how he can go wrong with what he's doing. So, but anyways, let's go ahead and check out this video. Guys, if you haven't, make sure you go subscribe to WrestleMania for more videos like this. And then that being said, let's get into this video. I can't hear nothing.
Now, in theory, when former WWE Chairman Vince McMahon made a WWE Superstar World Champion,
just make sure
Vince wasn't a huge fan of that specific wrestler. However, over the years, McMahon has been reluctantly forced to put his title.
And those are like some good runs, like Dean Ambrose.
Comes from fan demand and pressure from the other top people in
Big E, Daniel Bryan, of course, like
top of the WWE ladder. Or which ones were they? Well, join us now as
like that. No, the way some years back when now like Bryan Danielson, but yeah, when he was Daniel Bryan, like that man was he was getting some love from the fans. No, you can't tell me otherwise. Like, if that guy wasn't the first on the list to get a championship runner, and I'm like, like, even if he didn't want him as a world champion, it's like, that's the right business move, bruh. Because you could post that video on YouTube or post that video anywhere. People gonna say that was, like, one of the greatest moments in, like, wrestling history because it was somebody, it's like an underdog. And then you finally see him getting his WrestleMania spot. It's like, come on, bruh. Like, you don't give him that. It's like, what y'all doing, so.
10 WWE World Champions. Vince didn't want as champion. Be sure to subscribe and hit that.
Kofi Kingston, I feel like he going 100% be on this list. Because look how if you just when he got defeated by Brock Lesnar, it's like how quick that match was. Like, come on, bro.
On Wrestling Channel, incredible. Number 10, Jack Swagger. Heading into WrestleMania 26 Money in the Bank ladder match, the two favorites to win were Kofi Kingston and Drew McIntyre. However, rather shockingly, WWE decided to go with Jack Swagger as Mr. Money in the Bank. Swagger was pushed to the moon with immediate effect as he won the world title from Chris Jericho on a post-WrestleMania edition of SmackDown. And for the first month or so, it was obvious to fans that McMahon was actually a fan of Swagger and that he was actually going to try and make him a megastar. Unfortunately for Swagger, McMahon virtually overnight gave up on him. Swagger went from defeating Jericho, Edge and Randy Orton to being unable to secure any victories. By the time the Fatal 4-Way pay-per-view came around in June of 2010, all hope was lost for Swagger as fans simply couldn't see him as a legitimate world champion anymore. He would drop the world title to Rey Mysterio in a Fatal 4-Way match which also included CM Punk and The Big Show. Swagger's work during this run clearly angered McMahon, and as a result, Swagger was moved down the card and he would never win another world title in WWE. Number 9, Kofi Kingston.
Yep, see, told you. I knew it.
35 was a truly wholesome moment.
Yeah,
like be celebrated for years to come. A fantastic moment aside, it was evident that following Kingston's WWE title win, Vince McMahon didn't value Kingston as a top main event talent. So much so that during Kingston's reign, he never once main evented a pay-per-view as champion, and this is usually a sign that McMahon doesn't want a superstar as his top guy. When they booked Kingston to defend the title against Brock Lesnar on SmackDown's 20th anniversary episode, fans assumed that Lesnar was going to end Kingston's enjoyable title reign, and in spite of this, fans hoped that Kingston would get a fantastic showing to show the fans that he was still credible and going to linger around the WWE title scene. But Kingston would end up getting squashed in just 7 seconds. McMahon even decided to debut Cain Velasquez after Lesnar's victory, meaning Kingston became an immediate afterthought. McMahon finally managed to get the title off Kingston, and he would quickly transition back into the tag team wrestler as part of the New Day.
I was like, yeah, I just that lost. I'm like, bruh, there are so many ways he could have lost the championship. I feel like, having it where he's going up against this, this guy that's just beast of a wrestler, and then he loses, and it's like, fam, what's crazy to me is that they just made it seem like that we forgot, like, everything Kofi Kingston had went through to become champion and stuff. So it's like he goes through all of that just to lose in 7 seconds. No, bruh. They could have rewrote that and did that a lot different, like where it like dragged on a little bit at least. But yeah, I just think, at times, like in the, creative writing department, especially in the Vince McMahon era, I'm like, nah, you guys y'all wasn't doing something right. So
Dolph Ziggler. A former world champion, Dolph Ziggler has had a respectable WWE career, and he's established as being one of the most reliable in-ring talents in the company. However, during his career, it's been made clear that Vince McMahon failed to see Ziggler as a world champion.
I always thought like they would bring that version of Big E back. I feel like when he comes back, like he has to like bring that big, like, no, like with honestly, what they should have done is had it where Big E had his WrestleMania moment where he won the championship, but he brought like that Big E back. Like he had to get into that zone. He had to get into that, like, cause I'm saying like the way they had Big E, like in this version of Big E, when he was Big E Langston, I think that's what they were calling him and stuff. Yeah, man, he should have been, that's what they should have had at like WrestleMania or something. But anyway,
and his 2 world title runs are clear indicators of this. Ziggler's first run took place in 2011 and would be awarded the world title by Vicky Guerrero and would abruptly drop it on the same show. Then in 2013, Ziggler was finally supposed to get his moment. He had a memorable cash-in on Raw following WrestleMania 29, and fans were fully behind his push and subsequent world title win. The week following Ziggler's world title victory, he would lose a non-title match to Jack Swagger on Raw. After this loss to Swagger, fans quickly realized that McMahon wasn't going to get fully behind Ziggler's world title reign. A few short weeks into his world title run, Ziggler suffered a serious concussion which put him on the shelf for a month. When Ziggler returned, WWE decided to immediately take the world title off him. McMahon couldn't resist having Ziggler drop the title, and this would be Ziggler's last ever time as world champion in WWE.
Crazy.
Number 7.
They said it was like 2013. That was like almost 10 years ago. That's wild.
It was no secret that Vince McMahon had a set standard of how he wanted his world champions to look. Although this is definitely true, from time to time McMahon was pressured to put the world title on smaller talent. This occurred in 2004 when they put the world title on Chris Benoit. McMahon, whilst having respect for Benoit's in-ring work, actually found him rather bland in the ring. Benoit's world title run was overshadowed by other storylines, and McMahon had a lack of trust in Benoit to carry a central storyline. Benoit eventually dropped the world title at SummerSlam in 2004 to Randy Orton, and following his historic win, Benoit would never be presented as a top star in the company ever again. Number 6, Christian. There were several times during his time in WWE.
I mean, like, yeah, with Chris Benoit, it's like I think we all know how that situation went about. So, I don't know, man. It makes you think, like, the way that... Well, I mean, like, overall, it does make sense, like, on why they just banned him from wrestling because of what he had did and stuff. But it makes you wonder, like, with that. Then based off of things I heard with Chris Benoit, where it was, like, his... Because from what I heard, they was like his only friend was Eddie Guerrero. So that makes me think like he wasn't really talkative or cool with anybody. He was just there to just do his work and that's it. And, then hearing that from like, some people saying he was like Vince McMahon said that he was just bland in the ring. That's crazy. So, I mean, it's like I said, it's just that creative writing. It's like y'all gotta like come up with some stuff. And that's why I think like with social media, I feel like social media plays a big factor in what wrestling is today. Because I'm like, you hear what the fans say. It's like, for an example, Raquel and Aaliyah being the women's tag team champions, and then everybody was like, oh, it should have been Dakota. Is it Dakota Kai? I like look, I'm not good when it like new wrestlers. I be messing up their names. I just recently talked on this. I'm not good with names, people, but no. Then it's like everybody wanted the other women to be the champions and stuff. So yeah, it's like and you see that, and then it's like it's social media wanted it. So yeah, me personally, I think like what needs to be done more so is like just the fans also kind of have like a part in what's being said and done and things. But I mean also like surprise us. But yeah, it's like just kind of like a half and half thing. It's like half like listens to the fan, and then it's like you guys come up with some stuff. Because I just feel like things can work out somewhat better in that way. But anyways,
Christian could have won the world title. In the summer of 2005, Christian had reached his peak of popularity, but McMahon refused to pull the trigger on Christian's world title run. This would lead to Christian signing for TNA, where he became a multi-time world champion, and Christian managed to show McMahon that he was able to be a main event superstar. When Captain Charisma returned in 2005, Christian was placed in a similar position to where he was before he
It's
left the
just different
company years
environments,
prior.
though.
This all changed in 2011 following Edge's retirement as
That's why I
WWE.
think, like, you know, you look at that Christian when he was in TNA, and then you try to bring him back. Because my thing is this: TNA comes off as like it's an indie show, so you see like that pop he's getting from fans and stuff. In an indie show, it's much more different than like a main event, you know, type thing where it's like not main event type thing, but it's like on how big WWE's compared to like TNA. It's like TNA, like this was like one of the biggest wrestlers that ever stepped foot in the TNA. So like they, you know, me personally, I just think that's like you can't compare what he had going on in TNA to what he can possibly bring in WWE because it's not gonna feel the same and stuff. So that's why I think Christian's world title runs in WWE, just like he was more of a tag team wrestler, and it's like, you know, he can't be going after tag team championships his whole life, where it's like, you know, and just overall looking at Edge and just, you know, and I just think that it's like more work needs to be put into it, and I feel like, you know, with Edge's character, it worked out because it's like who he was and stuff. He played off as like the villain. I feel like, you know, maybe if Christian had more of a villainous role in things, and it was just, you know, there is something like I said, creative writing, add more of that, and yeah, I personally think he could have had a better run in WWE.
Decided to give Christian a world title win as a feel-good moment following Edge's sudden and upsetting retirement. On the SmackDown following Christian's monumental win, Christian would be challenged by newly drafted SmackDown
To like
star
pop my
Randy
back
Orton.
and stuff.
He would then be forced to face Orton on the show, and WWE actually decided to have Christian lose. Christian had lost the world title just days after winning it. This was a massive sign of disrespect, and it was clear that McMahon was never going to take Christian seriously as world champion. Christian would have another run as world champion during his feud with Orton, but this lasted a month, and it was used as a way to elevate Orton's star power. Number 5, Chris Jericho. According to Jericho himself, Vince McMahon never valued him as a top main event star until 2008. This was when Jericho feuded with Shawn Michaels, and Jericho delivered some of the most compelling character work of his entire career. But before his 2008 seal of approval, Jericho would become the first ever undisputed champion at Vengeance in 2001. Unfortunately, his run was terrible. Jericho was never taken seriously as undisputed champion. He had storylines with The Rock and Stone Cold during this time, and while he attained victories over the two legends of pay-per-view, they were presented as flukes which failed to give Jericho's reign the legitimacy it needed so badly. Jericho was also paired with Stephanie McMahon, and this officially killed Jericho's reign. He was presented as inferior to Stephanie and would do mundane tasks like dog sitting. Jericho would drop the title to Triple H at WrestleMania 18, and it was evident that McMahon had no faith in Jericho as a top guy in the company, and this would explain why he wouldn't win another world title until 2008. Number 4,
That's crazy.
Rob Van Dam.
Yeah,
In 2006,
Rob Van Dam, he was more of an ECW guy. Like, he's the guy where it's like, okay, like, yeah, TNA or AEW or any, like, in his prime, yeah, of course he's gonna, but in WWE, I just feel like WWE got, like, this higher class of wrestlers where they will, you know, give multiple championships to the, like, you know, the Rock type guys or Stone Cold type guys or John Cena type guys, you know, but like Rob Van Dam, and there ain't even no disrespect to him, but it's just, you know, that's he seems like he's more of a smaller show, like, so like I said, TNA or AEW and stuff, but you know, but AEW was even out at that time, and I think he did go to TNA. I think he did go to. I never really sat down and watched TNA. I need to, but like, you know, kind of catch up with the history of TNA and stuff, but anyways.
It was a pinnacle of RVD's WWE career. He would defeat John Cena to win the title for the first time. He would then be the face of the revamped ECW brand, and Vince would put a lot of faith in him. As RVD's reign was just obtaining steam, RVD was arrested for drug possession and thus forced WWE to suspend RVD. According to RVD, McMahon was deeply upset with him. His chances of being a top guy had been ruined, and McMahon was never going to trust him ever again. Once he dropped the title, McMahon would never give RVD another world title run, and it was apparent that Vince McMahon had completely lost faith in the ECW original. Number 3,
that's crazy.
Bray Wyatt reached the top of WWE on 3 separate occasions. However, each world title reign of Wyatt's highlighted how Vince McMahon never understood what Wyatt brought to the table. His first reign took place in 2017, and he won the title at the Elimination Chamber match, but he would abruptly drop it to Randy Orton at WrestleMania in Wyatt's first pay-per-view defense.
That's crazy.
Here it was reported that McMahon didn't want Wyatt as his champion, and instead he was going to explore different storylines for him. Fast forward to 2019, and Wyatt would win the Universal title as a Fiend character. Then, in one of the most infamous booking decisions of all time, McMahon decided to have The Fiend lose to Goldberg just before Mania. This
That's
killed The
crazy.
Fiend's character dead, and the character never seemed to even recover. The Fiend would once again capture the Universal title in the main event of SummerSlam in 2020, but this reign would just last only a week. Whilst McMahon certainly saw some value in Wyatt, it was clear that the moment he agreed to put the title on him, he instantly regretted his decision, and he would do anything in his power to bring his reign to a close. Number 2, CM Punk.
Yeah, well,
Punk
like, I feel like, yeah, that's an obvious answer. It's like something you ain't thinking about, but then when you hear the name, it's like, okay, well, I mean, look at how, look at just that time frame, or like them last few moments of him in WWE. He definitely ain't gonna get, like, no long thought out championship run, so.
Vince can be described in one single word: turbulent. Punk was a multi-time world champion in WWE, but in each of his reigns, McMahon seemed to favor other talent over his current world champion. Take, for instance, Punk's 69-day world title reign in 2008. Punk's world title run came at a time when WWE megastars John Cena and Batista were still on Raw, and they were both a lot more over than Punk. This meant that Punk's world title run was never a main focus of television, and he was virtually buried as world champion. Punk would last a total of 3 pay-per-views as world champion, but the final and most infamous pay-per-view appearance as world champ saw Punk get punted in the skull by Randy Orton at Unforgiven and would be taken out of his planned world title scramble match. Punk did have an historic WWE title reign between 2011 to 2013. This was a 434-day reign, but even during this reign, Punk had to play second fiddle to Cena. During this time, Punk would hardly ever main event pay-per-views as champion, and if he did, it was because he was facing Cena or The Rock. McMahon simply didn't value Punk at the top level, and nothing Punk could ever do was going to influence McMahon to alter his mind. And number 1, Rey Mysterio. And before 2006,
wow.
the idea of Vince McMahon...
I didn't think he would be number 1. I feel like the numbers should be, like, switched. I feel like CM Punk should be... But, I mean, like, yeah, because Rey Mysterio, like, I know a lot of people, he's the true underdog and, like, the small guy at WWE. But I'm like, nah, bruh, like... He is a top... My thing is this. Anybody with a top name in WWE, I feel like they should have, like, a successful, long-running title run, to, like, just overall leave some sort of motivation into the world and stuff. If it ain't even gonna be, like, for business or whatever, it's like, do it for, like, some motivation for, like, other, growing wrestlers and stuff. Because I'm pretty sure it'd be wrestlers that'll look at that belt, like, look at Rey Mysterio, look what he did to WWE. I can do that and stuff and so on, but... Yeah, it's, it's just, I think they, creative writing. We gonna, once again, for this one, we're gonna blame creative writing.
The making Rey Mysterio world champion was unfathomable. Yet at WrestleMania 22, McMahon finally pulled a trigger. He was heavily pressured by other WWE executives to make Mysterio world champion, but it wasn't something McMahon was ever comfortable doing. McMahon outright buried Mysterio's world champion, as he would lose a ton of matches on television to the likes of RVD, Mark Henry, and the Great Khali. Mysterio's reign was a complete flop, as McMahon was too stubborn to present Mysterio in a manner fitting of a world champion. Mysterio would have 2 more reigns as world champ, one in 2010 which lasted 28 days and existed only to further a planned storyline between Kane and Taker. The final of Mysterio's reigns took place in 2011, and Mysterio didn't even make it to the end of the show as champion, as he'd be defeated by Cena in a rather frustrating booking move. But there you have it, folks. 10 world champions Vince McMahon hated. Be sure to leave your comments down below, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.
You know what I personally think what they should do with Rey Mysterio, especially with this, beef that he got going on with his son? I think this would be a perfect opportunity to, like, because I feel like, still with the crowd, he's going to be a face, of course. Like, the crowd's still going to love him. I think this would be a best time for, like, a heel Rey Mysterio. Like, make him darker than, the faction, like, with Rhea Ripley, Finn Balor, Damian Priest, and Dominic Mysterio. I feel like they can, I feel like that they can make Rey Mysterio darker than that. Like, if they gotta come up, because I think it can happen. I think it can be possible. They come out with, like, a dark Rey Mysterio. Oh my god, like, that's just, that would, I feel like that would kill it. That would definitely elevate Rey Mysterio, just to show, like, how versatile he could be in WWE. I feel like he has it in him. It'll just probably, take some time, or if they do got something in the works, or he has something planned for a while, they gotta use it, and they gotta, you know, use it to their advantage, because I think that can work out. Dark Rey Mysterio, I personally think that can work. So, and because no, wasn't he like a heel like early on? Like I think it was in the WCW days and stuff, like before WWE, but I do feel like they can reach like that dark, you know, Rey Mysterio, and just be all like, ooh, like this is scary. Like we gotta have these guys in fear and stuff, and put on like some top tier matches with like all of like, because honestly, I feel like how it should start, he just takes like a chair to like Rhea Ripley's back or something, and people are just kind of like shocked, like what just happened. He has like some evil smile, and and then they gotta like change his mask to like some like evil, like not like no like demonic like stuff, but just like, you know, just something like scary looking, where it's like, okay, this man, he is dangerous, he is officially slipped on his black Air Forces, we gotta leave this man alone. So no, I think it could work. I personally think, and then of course, like, you know, him just going off on Dominic and stuff, I think it could work. I think it could like really elevate, and you know, it can like teach people some things and stuff. But anyways, that's just what I personally think. That's just my little WWE idea. But anyways, and that being said, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys go subscribe to WrestleMania for more videos like this. Like, subscribe to me too, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.